Hello, welcome. My name is Aaron Nielsen. I'm going to be walking you through this week's content. This is your SS1000 course, and my specific focus this week is to walk you through the student learning objectives for week 3. Week 3 is an exciting week, lots of really great content in this week. We'll really try to hit a home run on the learning objectives that we're going to achieve this week. Keep in mind your classmates are a fantastic resource. As you write in the discussion board, keep in mind you might be making some lifelong friends or connecting with others that can help you along your journey. Uh, you know, some key topics and things just to reiterate, the importance of a support system, how important it is to learn to set and achieve goals. I'm a huge goals guy myself. And on your end, it's exciting to learn about some of the different goals that you've achieved in the past and ways that you've overcome challenges, obstacles, things of that nature. Each of you should be very proud that you're investing in yourselves and working hard to achieve your goals in your education. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and click on my screen capture video tool, and I'll walk you through the content for this week. I'm going to do it in kind of the standard PowerPoint way, but these PowerPoints, I'm not going to put a lot of words on each slide. Mainly, let's really concentrate on the theme or the purpose behind each PowerPoint. And that'll be really a key skill for you to develop as you go through your education and your career, is learning, what are the important things to focus on, and what sorts of things can maybe be set into the parking lot, or given some time later on in the day. And we talk a little bit about that in this course when we talk about prioritization and those types of things. But all right, let's go ahead and jumpstart our screen share here. I look forward to meeting each of you. If you ever need any help, simply email me, text, call, anything like that. We have an incredible team here at UMA, and we look forward to seeing you succeed. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at week 3. Week three's content here at Ultimate Medical Academy. So this is your SS1000 class, and again, my name is Aaron Nielsen. I'm going to be walking you through some really, really awesome topics today, right up my alley. I love this stuff. We're looking at prioritization, problem solving, and affirmations. So let's go ahead and move forward here. So when we're talking about prioritization, lots of times our lives can get super cluttered. There might be a lot of noise, and many of you might have heard of the 80-20 rule. So let's go ahead and move forward here. And so one of the ideas behind the 80-20 rule is that we can spend 80% of our time on things that are really not key priorities. They're more distractions or things that pull us away from our goal or the thing that means the most to us in that moment. So the 20% typically is the stuff that really matters. And this rule is applicable in many settings under many scenarios. So the challenge is with prioritization, figuring out what are the things that are most important, and how do we go ahead and attack those things and get them done, so that we don't have the stress or the lingering pressure to complete a task that if we really just got after it, we'd complete quickly. If we prioritize things, we complete those things quickly. So I really like this quote by Gandhi, where he talks about action expresses our priorities. And so a great place to start for me is to look at my day-to-day routine, or kind of the things that I do. And so for me personally, one of my strategies is I break my day into 3 or 4 periods. Now, my background is in sports, so I always thought about, if you're a football fan, you have quarters. If you're a baseball fan, you have innings, those types of things. And it was much easier to stay focused for an individual unit of the game as opposed to the entire game. So let's use baseball for an example. The first inning, I can stay very focused on that first inning, and not worry about the second inning, third inning, etc. And this helped me really focus on the priorities for that particular, let's say, inning or unit, etc. So for me, what I do is I break my day up into, right now, 3 periods. And so the first period of my day, I'm just going to kind of circle the number 1 right here as a reminder. So, as my example here is typically the things that I need to focus on the most. So these are the things that require a lot of my attention, a lot of my focus, a lot of my effort, things that are challenging. Maybe they're things that I've never done before. Maybe there are things that I'll have to figure out, like if I'm programming or if I'm working on a new, let's say, web feature or something like that. I might put that into my first period every single day. And I'll concentrate on that thing. Maybe if it's a big, daunting task, I'll break it down into smaller tasks. So my first period is those super challenging things. Period number 1. So this is how I do it. So for example, let's say I needed to write a 15-page paper or a 5-page paper or a 1-page paper, whatever. And I've never done that before. So what I might do just to get some momentum is that first period of my day, I might just put a folder on my desktop, in other words, the screen of my computer that says, paper. And just by putting that folder on my desktop, it's got the ball rolling for me. So I usually can create some kind of momentum. And then maybe the next day I open that paper up or that folder or whatever, and I put my sources in there, or if I open up a worksheet or something like that, maybe I only do the first question or maybe the first or second question. So now I really understand what I'm up against. So breaking it into that much smaller task allows me to tackle the larger task at hand in a manageable way. So that's first period. The other thing I like to do for myself with first period is I like to add some sort of physical fitness component or family time, connecting with others, leading with love, like connecting to my community, whatever it is that I can do that really kind of fits into that love priority for me. So then I might move into the second period of the day. Let's say that's in the afternoon or something like that. And this will be different based on your own personal life, depending on your work schedule, etc. But my second period, I might pull out a to-do list or create a to-do list. And some of those things might not even be related to the work that I'm doing or whatever else. Maybe it's I need to go to the post office and mail this letter to my brother for his birthday, or maybe I need to work on my bike or take my kids to the park or whatever the case might be. So the second period, I usually use a to-do list to keep me focused and on task. And then the third period, that's for me, that's the one where I'm working on creating things, tightening up any loose ends. Maybe I'm calling some friends or family on the phone. And for me, that's how I manage my days, and it fits into my own personal value system, the things that I like to be rooted in, which is, adventure, helping others, sports, love, those types of things. And so that's the model I use to set up my priorities throughout the day, and breaking those into much smaller bits, which are easier for me to handle. Now, again, going back to Gandhi, one of the things that he talked about, action expresses priorities. Well, it's pretty easy to look at your last 5 days and kind of see where you've put your priorities and if they're in the right lane. And you'll know, like if you're working on things that will better you and move you forward, you'll know very clearly that your priorities are setting you up for a really good future. And in fact, I remember reading a book, part of a book that the head football coach for University of Oregon was using at the time, where it was called Water the Bamboo. And what that meant was you got to water bamboo for almost a year or something like that, an extremely long period of time. But once that bamboo finally grows, it takes off. The thing grows like crazy. So it's a lot of work and effort, and then all of a sudden, boom, the tree explodes. And so I almost look at that analogy as any difficult task, whether it's school, getting a promotion, whatever the case might be, is you water that quote unquote bamboo, and then next thing you know, it sprouts, and you've got plenty of opportunities and lots of sustainability. So that's prioritization strategies. I'm excited to read in the course discussion board and other areas what you do for prioritization, some of the ways you stay organized, some of the successes that you've had in your career already, and how you were able to have those successes. So priorities. Okay, let's click on to our next slide. But before we do that, another thing, if you're a pen to paper type of person, maybe you sit down and you spend 10 minutes in the morning just even addressing your priorities. What is it that you think is important, and how do you intend on achieving those priorities throughout the day? Something as simple as that, maybe you call that your phase one, will really get you moving in the right direction. Okay, another part of this week 3 is problem solving skills. And so every single day you're going to come up against different problems, challenges, things that are just going to cause you some stress. And I think the key to problem solving is being able to be equipped with lots of different tools to handle that problem. That's why I use this image. It looks like, I can use the book, or maybe I can look up something online, or perhaps I can watch a video, or maybe I can call a friend, or whatever the case might be. I've got lots of different tools in my toolbox to be able to solve the problem. So imagine your car breaks down. You're driving, trying to get to work or whatever, school, something like that. Your car breaks down. So you open up your toolbox and you say, well, what can I do? This exact same thing happened to me actually when I was going to an interview. And what I ended up doing was I was calling Uber, and the driver came and got me literally on the side of the road. And so there's lots of different ways that you can quickly adapt, adjust, and solve problems, especially using technology, more so than ever before. Perhaps in the past that might have been I got to walk, or try to call somebody, try to figure out a way that I can make sure that I'm able to achieve my goal there. So a key to that too is skilling up. I call it skilling up. And when you skill up, you'll have plenty of tools to be able to choose from. So for example, when I first started working on websites, I learned some of the different editors like Wix, Weebly, etc. But I needed to learn how to create customizers, and I needed to learn how to attach WooCommerce and some other e-commerce platforms to whatever it was that I was doing. And so I had to skill up. And so the more skills that you can develop, the more tools you'll have in your toolbox to be able to find some problems or overcome some challenges. Support system. So that's something that in our course we talk about a lot, and we'll have a discussion in the discussion board about the importance of a strong support system. So that could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be your community, your network. So let's say, for example, you've got a big event that you need to get to, or an interview or something like that, and you don't have anybody to be able to watch your children. But if you've got this great support system, maybe you can call up a friend and say, hey, what do you think? Can you watch my kids for an hour or two, and do that a week in advance or something like that? Or, hey, Mom, what do you think? Can you come on over and watch my children while I take care of this task or the next? Again, that kind of lends itself really well to the 3-period day I talked about beforehand, where you can kind of figure out what it is that you're going to prioritize and attack that day, and then really get an understanding of how you're going to attack that day, and what resources you might need, or who you might need to call to set yourself up for success. I think, to put everything into a nutshell, setting yourself up for success is a great strategy to be able to navigate life and all the different challenges that might come up. So maybe you take some time and open up your binder and write down ways that you can overcome obstacles, or some of the skills that you currently have and ones that you feel like you want to add to your tool belt. If the support system's a little bit shaky, maybe it's time to make new friends, or strengthen relationships that you currently have. If you don't have time to do those types of things, then maybe reach out to folks that you interact with on a daily basis at work or those types of things. So relationship building, lots of different ways to help you develop tools to overcome problems. For specifically to education, you talk about study time. What is it that you might do every single day to ensure that you're set for success? Now, here's a strategy that doesn't work very well. Go all week long, 2 hours before the assignment's due. Try to put your head down and get the assignment done. That usually just leads to chaos and poor quality work. So a better strategy might be, okay, on Monday, I'm going to open up the file and maybe do the first question and save it on my desktop so that now I have some momentum. On Tuesday, I'm going to open that back up because your brain actually is going through problem-solving strategies all the while you're operating throughout your day. And if you're thinking about the assignment, you know what it is. It's magic how the mind will really try to think about the solutions for that particular assignment that you might be doing. Some study strategies that you might want to consider, calling a friend, setting some time aside in your schedule, maybe working with somebody else. There's all kinds of studies that show how when you work with somebody else, your productivity increases by quite a bit. For me personally, if I'm doing something extremely challenging, I like to put my headphones on. The type of music I'll listen to, changes based on how focused I need to be. But you can use these strategies. You create your own too. Like, hey, that worked really well. I was able to complete my work and it was sustainable. I'm doing this every day now. I've got a nice little routine going. I use a spreadsheet that I'll go throughout the day just to make sure that nothing slips through the cracks. And all that is like, if you're not familiar with Microsoft Excel, you can just get it. It's free. I'm sure the school has access to it as well. And you just create your to-do list or create your process or whatever it is in Excel. And then, boom, there you go. Now you've got a tool for you to keep yourself organized. Really helps the mind stay out of chaos land and stay more in focused land. Okay, so last but not least, and probably the most important thing, is affirmations. Ways that you encourage yourself, ways that you ensure that you're going to peak perform more often than not. Everybody's going to have a bad day, a challenging day, a day where you fail, and those types of things. But if we can get back up on the horse and focus on, the good things about ourselves, long term, you're going to see yourself moving in the right direction, or in other words, a nice upward trend. So I had a couple of different quotes that I found. And there's plenty of these. I like to, I have 2 daughters, so I'm always trying to give them encouragement and help them navigate this challenging world. But this first quote is: attitude's a choice, happiness is a choice, optimism is a choice, kindness is a choice, giving is a choice, respect is a choice. Whatever choice you make makes you. Choose wisely. So it's pretty easy to stand back at the end of the day, and if you want to critically think for 5 minutes about the types of choices you made throughout that day, did you choose to be a person that criticizes, or somebody that just sees the darkness in everything, or the difficulty in everything, or whatever the case might be? There's this really great story I learned in sports where there's this man in Texas, had this giant home, beautiful home with the perfect grass, and there was this little patch of crabgrass in the grass, and his buddy comes to visit him and walks up the front driveway, gets out of the car and says, "Hey, great looking house, but I noticed you got that patch of crabgrass over there." And in sports, we'd always call that person a buzzard. So somebody that finds the negative and points it out instead of focusing on all these great things that were around that could have that experience could have gone a completely different direction. So giving yourself positive affirmations, or even teaching your children positive affirmations, like you can do this, you're great, earned positive affirmations are especially important. They help with self-esteem, confidence, etc. But for me, these are some of the things I like to tell myself. I'll be present in every moment. I'm smart, kind, brave, beautiful, and today is a great day. Just things like that over and over again. I teach that to my girls as much as I can in as many different ways as I can. So just to recap, we touched on prioritization, priorities, setting your priorities right, really clipping out all that stuff that's non-priorities and putting the focus on the stuff that is. I recommended using for me, a 3-period day, ways that have some things in it that I really enjoy, etc. Then talked about problem solving, like being able to grow your support system so that you have more assets at hand to be able to solve any challenge you might come up against. And then, we finished off with affirmations, ways that you can encourage yourself, ways that you can, help yourself be your own biggest fan. So with that,